Well, folks, it's a great morning for Indiana Fever fans because last night the Indiana Fever showed just how down and dirty and gritty they can get and stole a game from the Los Angeles Sparks in their arena, okay? And Los Angeles had beaten. They had the Fever's number. They won the first two games of the season, but the Fever won the game that mattered most. So now the Fever are 21 and 18, and have given themselves a little breathing room in this battle. And everybody out there that I've looked at in terms of sources for what the Fever needs to do to make sure they are in the playoffs says two more wins. And I believe that this team can do that. All right. So I don't even know how I stayed up for this game because I'm going to be exhausted today, but it was worth every single minute of it. Um, no one should ever call Aliyah Boston soft again. She was immense in this game. And there's a reason why ESPN made her the third best player under 25 in the WNBA. Um, and the Fever, by the way, have two players in the top five in the WNBA on that list. Caitlin Clark at number one and Aliyah Boston at number three. So let's talk about this because this one came down to the last few seconds of the game. And it was nerve-wracking. I'm not going to lie to you, okay? I was trying to watch this thing in bed and I was up pacing back and forth. It was crazy, all right? They were tied with 50 seconds left. Um, one of the players from the Sparks, Azura Stevens, got some free throws. She made one of the two to give the Sparks the lead, 75-74, with 31 seconds left. And then uh, they, I believe there was, I can't even remember because I was so excited during this game. I believe there was an offensive foul, and then Indiana had to defend again. And they successfully did that. And this is where Aliyah Boston was just ridiculous, okay? She literally stole the ball from Kelsey Plum, taking possession. And of course, that resulted in the Sparks then fouling. Kelsey Mitchell missed both free throws. What were the chances of that happening? Kelsey Mitchell, of all people, but it happened. And they had one final chance to win this game with zero point 0.1 seconds left. And they could not get a shot off in that time. So it was crazy. It was crazy, but they won. It was ugly. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't, anything anybody would hold up as their most impressive game of the year, but that none of that matters because it was impressive when it mattered. Okay. It was impressive that they even pulled this thing off, in my opinion. So let's look at some numbers, okay? Let's look at this. Aliyah Boston played 37 minutes, 22 points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists, 6 steals. That's a double-double. She's had several of those this year, okay? Odyssey Sims, 34 minutes, 21 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists. Kelsey Mitchell, 35 minutes, 12 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists. Natasha Howard, 29 points, 5 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists. Lexi Hull, 27 minutes, 5 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. Now, I'm going to say that, Ariel Powers got the start over Chloe Bibby, who came off the injured list last night. And she played 15 minutes, had 9 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists. Brianna Turner, 13 minutes, 2 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist. Dantas only played 2 minutes. And Shea Petty only played 8 minutes. Dantas had 0-0-0 across the board, 2 minutes. I mean, there's no time to do anything with that kind of playing time. And Shea Petty had 8 minutes, 0-0 and 2, 0.0 rebounds, 2 assists. And, obviously Michaela Timpson did not play in this game. But what really matters here is the Indiana Fever won the game. The Indiana Fever won the game. The final score 76-75, all the way to the end. An amazing win. Okay. And this is the kind of stuff that shows what teams are made of. And this team deserves a hell of a lot of credit for getting this far without their star player. Now, a lot of people out there were saying yesterday that the Fever's holding the fort for Caitlin Clark. And I think the further they go into this playoff cycle, the more likely it is that we are going to see Caitlin Clark for the playoffs at least. And I think she will be back for at least a couple of games at the end of the season. So we're going to see how that rides out. I also want to say something about Lexi Hull, who has been, she's always huge on defense, always. And, you know, her two black eyes just show exactly how gritty and tough she is, okay? And her worth is not measured in her stat line. Her worth is measured in so many intangible ways that it's incredible. She is, you know, part of the heart and soul of this team, and she needs to be on this team for a long time. I feel very strongly about Lexi Hull, no question whatsoever. So here we are, and we're standing with a 21-18 record. Let me recap again. They're saying everywhere out there 2 more wins. Okay. So in closing, let me talk about the MVP award, because I'm also seeing articles out there that Napheesa Collier is no longer a lock on the MVP. And you know something? We started out the year with everybody talking about it coming down to Caitlin Clark and Napheesa Collier, okay? The beginning of the season is way too early to start talking about who the MVP should be, all right? The most valuable player is the player who contributes the most to what their team is able to achieve over the course of the year. And you can't determine that at the beginning of the season. Caitlin Clark, who would have thought at the beginning of the season, the way she started out the year with a triple-double and 2 double-doubles in her first 5 games, that she would miss most of the year to injury. All right, there's no way to predict anything like that. That stuff just kind of happens, okay? But there are now several players who may very well fit that bill. And it may not be Napheesa Collier, okay? You know, people are talking about Asia Wilson now. People are talking about Kelsey Mitchell. And, you know, everybody had their underwear in a twist out there that, you know, Caitlin Clark and her teammates were pushing for Kelsey Mitchell to win this award. Well, she's as legitimately in the conversation as anybody at this point. So the MVP isn't necessarily the star player on every team, okay? It's not predetermined at the beginning of the year. It's an award that's given out at the end of the year based on what that player was able to do for her team. And in a lot of cases, it's a team that may not be in first place. So that's basically what I've got this morning, but I will be back with another video tonight because I have another viewer question I want to address, and it's a pretty cool one. All right, I'm not gonna give you too many hints, but it's a pretty cool one. It's about I'll give you this much of a hint. It's about the Caitlin Clark logo, and we'll get to that tonight after work, maybe a little bit late because I have to kind of unwind when I get home. But I will see you guys tonight. This is a great win. As always, there'll be some information in the description of the video that you guys can take a look at. And this is, to me, the absolute best win of the season. This couldn't have come at a better time. And who cares what the hell it looked like? All that matters is we're one step closer to securing the playoff berth when, technically speaking, nobody thought we'd ever be here. So we need to ride this wave. I will talk to you guys tonight. Have a great day.